What if you had a bulletproof way to grow your company? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the scientific method, apply it to your business, and get complete clarity on what the next thing is that you need to do to grow. When I was starting my e-commerce business, I used the principles to start from day zero. So the first $500 I spent were on tests. And the idea is that you can actually create a business and have a high confidence of success by using these principles. Think about it this way. If you had to go to market and had to develop an entire product and you have to pay for all of the development of the product, then you have to pay to get it created and then warehouse some of it and then hope it sells. That's model A. So now you're out several $1,000s, you're out several months. Option B is I'm going to soft test this. I'm going to pretend I have a product and I'm going to get expressions of interest early on. And I'm going to run some really targeted tests. So I'll just run some Facebook ads and I'll say, do the people in the market actually want this thing? And if I get some signals, then I was like, okay, let's drill down. Let's do some subsequent testing. And if you use this methodology, you can actually start a business with higher confidence. That business which I started, I didn't even think it was going to work. But iterative testing, it's now a $1.3 million business that pretty much takes me 5 hours a week to manage. Why? Because I did it using this methodology of just constantly testing what's working and throwing out anything that doesn't. So it doesn't have to be something that only larger businesses use. It's a general principle that can be used from the startup stage. Whenever I look at any business, whether it is to coach them, whether it's to invest in the business, I'm always looking at what is the one metric that matters, OMTM, the one metric that matters. Because at any given point, there is one number that if you move that number, the entire business gets better. So if you look at your business and you say, what is the one thing that needs to happen? And sometimes it's operational, as in we actually need to get capacity better in order to support our clients. Maybe it is something like customer satisfaction. We're getting a lot of churning clients. We wouldn't lose so many if the customer satisfaction number is higher. Maybe it's a sales metric. We need more sales, or maybe we need more leads because we're good at closing leads to sales, but we don't have enough leads. There's one metric that matters. So the first thing is to identify what is that one metric. And then you can ask yourself, what is broken about it? And what's my hypothesis about how I'm going to fix it? So you can try random things and say, oh, well, it must be leads. So I'm just going to drive as many leads as possible. But is that really going to work? How do you know that the method that you've been driving leads to today is the optimal way of doing it? Better would be to run some strategic tests. I know that this has sort of kind of worked in the past, but I clearly have a problem because that's the one metric that is a problem. I've been ignoring it, or I don't have an optimal way of doing that. So what I do instead is I ask, what is the test that I can run to determine the best way of doing this? So I might try 3 different campaigns. I might try 3 different media. I might try a different kind of lead generation campaign or a different asset for the lead generation campaign. The point is that I'm running an experiment of limited duration and limited budget that gets just enough data to tell me directionally which one of these should I double down on. And then from there, I can spend a little more and say, okay, well, now I'm refining this concept. And doing this iteratively allows you to actually grow the business and get out of whatever zone you're stuck in. Because typically it's just one big bottleneck, right? So there's a concept of having a bottleneck, and that bottleneck is the one thing that's constraining the business. And that goes back to the one metric that matters. And then what is the one activity that's going to change that metric? And then you have a hypothesis about it. And then you run this scientific entrepreneurship method in order to unlock that one thing that's constraining the business. Early on, it's the fact that there just aren't a lot of sales, right? So you haven't really validated that you've got an offer that works. So you're starting from the very beginning. Does the market want what you have? For a more mature business, there might be proven demand for the thing. Let's say you've got a $5 million business. Okay, well, clearly there's some demand for the thing, but the question is, are you now stumbling because you need more customers, or because your customers are churning too much? Or it's a question and answer kind of thing. You just ask a bunch of questions about where in the chain, from when the prospect first hears about the business, all the way through to marketing and sales and delivery and referral. And you look at all of those things and you ask, where's the problem? And then you can also ask in a more mature business, where do I have enough data that I can do a test? Because one thing that often happens is you have these people, and some people are sales focused people and some people are marketing focused people. And sales people love to tweak the sales script, and marketing people love to try new campaigns. But the problem is that might not be the right kind of thing, because if you're a sales focused person and you're only doing, let's say, 4 sales presentations a month, it's going to take you tweak your sales script. And are you really going to know the difference, right? You're only doing 4 a month. So that's not going to give you enough data. So even if you're a salesperson, you might want to focus on the leads front because you can get more leads. But if you're a marketing person and you're always jumping on new campaigns, but you've got a grossly inefficient sales process, you could use the number of sales appointments that you're getting and actually do a test and do better by changing your sales script. So it's going to depend on the maturity of the business and kind of where that bottleneck is. Okay, now you have an idea of what to grow. Now here's the next question. How do you make sure that you have time to actually do it? Now watch this video over here where I go over how to have an additional 20 hours a week as an entrepreneur to dedicate to important projects like this.